Hello, good afternoon, students. In this video, I am going to explain about contour forming. Contour forming is also one of the method of irrigation. Contour forming is practiced in hilly regions where the lands to be irrigated have steep slopes. It also controls erosion due to rainfall. In this method, the land to be irrigated is divided into a series of strips, usually known as terraces or benches, which are aligned to approximately follow the different contours at a vertical interval of 300 to 600 mm. Each of these strips forms an independent portion of the land to be irrigated. The strips are level in the direction of the original land slope but are given a gentle slope along their length to ensure efficient irrigation and drainage of excess water at non-erosive velocities. At the outer end of each strip following its boundary configuration, a low earthen bund or a dike is provided. The height of the bund should be sufficient to safely contain both irrigation water and the rainfall runoff. For applying the water to the strips, any of the methods such as border strips, furrows, or check basins can be used. Another method is the furrow method. In this method of irrigation, water is applied to the land to be irrigated by a series of long, narrow fields channels called furrows, which are dug in the land at regular intervals as shown in the figure. You can see the figure on screen. The water flowing in the furrows infiltrates into the soil and spreads laterally to irrigate the land between the furrows. Thus, whereas in each of the methods of irrigation by flooding, almost the entire land is wetted, in the furrow method only a part of the land varying from 1/2 to 1/5 is wetted, which results in reducing the evaporation losses. The furrow method is commonly used for row crops such as maize, jowar, cotton, potatoes, sugar cane, sugar beet, groundnut, tobacco, etc. The size, shape, spacing and length of furrows depend mainly on soil conditions and type of crop. Large furrows are used for widely spaced crops and small furrows for closely spaced crops. For soils of low permeability, a wide and shallow furrow, that is 75 mm to 125 mm, is preferable since it gives more area for the water to infiltrate. On the other hand, when the soil is quite permeable, narrow and deep furrows 200 mm to 300 mm may be used to avoid excessive percolation at the upper end. The furrows may be classified on the basis of their alignment into two types. One is straight furrows and the second one is the contour furrows. Straight furrows are those furrows which are aligned along the more or less parallel straight lines and are laid along the slope of the land. These furrows are best suited where the land slopes do not exceed 0.75%. Contour furrows are those furrows which are aligned along the different contours and hence these are laid across the slope of the land. These furrows are therefore curved in plan and are usually adopted where the lands to be irrigated have relatively steeper slopes. Advantages. What are the advantages of furrow method of irrigation? In furrow irrigation, water wets only 1/5 to one and a half of half the land surface, thereby reducing pudding and crusting of the soil. Evaporation losses are also reduced. It is suitable for uh, raw crops such as maize, jawar, cotton, potatoes, sugarcane, sugar beet, groundnut, tobacco, etc. It is especially suitable for crops such as maize, etc., which are subject to injury if allowed to come in contact with water ponded on the land in any of the methods of irrigation by flooding. In this method, the requirements of labor for land preparation and irrigation are very much reduced as compared to the various methods of irrigation by flooding. In the furrow method, there is no wastage of land either in field channels, as in checks or levees method, or in field ditches, as in basin method. Sprinkler irrigation. In the sprinkler irrigation method, the irrigation water is applied to the land in the form of spray, somewhat as in ordinary rain. The components of sprinkler irrigation system are water source, main pipelines or mains, sub-main pipelines, sub-mains, lateral pipelines or laterals, riser pipes, risers, sprinklers, and pumping unit. Based on the portability, sprinkler irrigation systems are classified into five. One is portable system, semi-portable system, semi-permanent system, solid set system, and permanent system. There are two types of sprinklers. One is single nozzle rotating sprinkler and the second one is double nozzle rotating sprinklers. On the screen you can see the single nozzle rotating sprinkler. In this sprinkler it has only one nozzle. The water will spray through this nozzle. Nozzle has a small opening that will allow the water to pass through the hole and with high velocity, so the water will reach some distance and it covers the land crops. It has one nozzle, you can see here, this is a main nozzle and this is a single nozzle, and the another one is the double nozzle or twin nozzle. There are two nozzle, one is here and another is here. This is the main nozzle and this is the driving nozzle. So these are the two types of sprinklers. Advantages of sprinkler irrigation: it can be efficiently used for wide range of topographic conditions, soils and crops. With the use of sprinkler irrigation, since surface runoff is eliminated, erosion of soil can be controlled. Uniform application of water is possible. A better control on irrigation can be enforced, and also light irrigation is possible, which is required for seedlings and plants which are very young. No land preparation are required, thus labor cost is reduced. No borders, field channels, etc. are required, and hence more land is available for cropping. Even small streams of irrigation water can be used efficiently. The time and amount of application of fertilizer can be better controlled in sprinkler irrigation. The protection to the crop against frost can be provided by sprinkler irrigation. The spray of irrigation water makes the ice formed on the plants to melt, and thus damage to the crop due to frost is prevented. In semi-arid and humid regions, about 80% of water application efficiency is possible with this method. This method is adaptable to more humid regions because by this method of irrigation, the increase in the humidity of the atmosphere is much less as compared to the other methods of irrigation. The pumping unit of the sprinkler irrigation system will act as standby drainage pumping unit. Seepage loss like earthen canals are eliminated. Disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of sprinkler irrigation? Wind may distort the sprinkler pattern, thus resulting in non-uniform application of irrigation water. The initial investment is high. A constant water supply is needed for the most economical use of the equipment of the system. Water must be clean and free from sand, etc. to prevent the choking of the sprinklers. The power requirement is high since continuous pumping of water is required. Heavy soils with poor intake cannot be irrigated efficiently by this method. Areas with higher temperature increase evaporation loss. This method is not suitable for crops requiring frequent and deep water depth. So these are the advantages of sprinkler irrigation. Thank you guys.